Is Cosmic the future of Linux desktops? That is the big question we are exploring today as we take a detailed look at the modern desktop environment developed by System 76. Cosmic has been getting a lot of attention from Linux users because it is not simply another desktop theme or a small collection of improvements added to an existing environment. It represents a completely new direction, built from the ground up with modern technologies and a clear vision for how a Linux desktop should work. After years of using familiar environments like GNOME, KDE Plasma, Cinnamon, XFCE, and others, Cosmic arrives with the ambition to offer something different while still being flexible, fast, and easy to use. But does it really have what it takes to become the future of Linux desktops, or is it simply another interesting alternative in an already crowded Linux ecosystem? The first thing that makes Cosmic interesting is its origin. System 76, the company best known for its Linux hardware and pop_OS distribution, decided to create its own desktop environment after years of working with existing technologies. The result is Cosmic, which is designed to provide a complete desktop experience rather than simply modifying an existing environment. One of the biggest changes is that Cosmic is being developed using the Rust programming language and modern graphical technologies. This gives the project a fresh foundation and allows the developers to rethink many parts of the traditional Linux desktop experience. When you first launch a Cosmic-based desktop, one of the most noticeable things is the overall layout. Cosmic focuses heavily on productivity and multitasking. The interface combines familiar concepts with its own approach, including a panel, application, launcher, workspace management, and a dock. The goal is to make it easy to organize your applications in Windows without forcing you to constantly search through menus or rely on complicated keyboard shortcuts. For users who regularly work with multiple applications, multiple monitors, or several virtual workspaces, this approach can feel particularly natural. One of Cosmic's strongest features is its workspace management. Instead of treating workspaces as something hidden away for advanced users, Cosmic puts them at the center of the desktop experience. You can organize different tasks into separate spaces, keeping your browser and communication tools in one workspace while your development tools, documents, or creative applications remain somewhere else. This can make a huge difference for people who spend long hours working on a computer. Rather than having dozens of overlapping windows, you can create a cleaner and more organized workflow. Window tiling is another major part of the Cosmic experience. Tiling has become increasingly popular among Linux users because it allows windows to automatically arrange themselves on the screen. Cosmic attempts to bring the benefits of tiling to everyday desktop users without requiring them to become experts in complex window manager configuration. You can work with tiled windows while still having the freedom to use traditional floating windows when needed. This hybrid approach is one of the things that could help Cosmic appeal to a much wider audience. Customization is also a major selling point. Linux users have always appreciated the freedom to change their desktop, and Cosmic continues that tradition. Users can adjust panels, docks, themes, wallpapers, window behavior, and other parts of the interface. The important thing is that customization does not feel like an afterthought. Cosmic is being designed around the idea that users should have control over how their desktop works. For someone moving from Windows or Mac OS, this flexibility could be a major advantage. Another interesting part of Cosmic is its approach to settings and system configuration. Modern Linux desktops can sometimes feel inconsistent, with different applications using different design principles and settings being scattered across multiple locations. Cosmic aims to create a more unified experience. Its own applications and system tools are designed to follow a consistent visual language, helping the entire desktop feel like one connected environment. This kind of consistency is important if Linux wants to compete more directly with polished commercial operating systems. Performance is naturally another important question. Because Cosmic is being developed with modern technologies and Rust, many users are curious about how efficiently it runs. While performance depends heavily on hardware, drivers, applications, and the underlying Linux distribution, the project has clearly placed emphasis on responsiveness and smooth interaction. The use of modern graphics technologies also gives Cosmic an opportunity to build a desktop that feels fluid and capable of handling modern displays and hardware. However, no desktop environment is perfect, and Cosmic still has challenges ahead. One of the biggest concerns is maturity. Established environments like KDE, Plasma, and GNOME have been developed for many years and have enormous communities behind them. They have extensive documentation, third-party extensions, themes, applications, and troubleshooting resources. Cosmic is much younger, which means users may encounter rough edges, missing features, or occasional compatibility issues as the project continues to evolve. Software compatibility is another area worth watching. Cosmic itself is a desktop environment, so it relies heavily on the wider Linux ecosystem. Applications designed primarily around GNOME or KDE may not always integrate perfectly with a new desktop environment. This is not necessarily Cosmic's fault, but it is something users should consider. The success of Cosmic will depend not only on System 76 but also on how well the broader Linux application ecosystem adapts to new technologies and standards. Another important question is whether Cosmic can attract users beyond the existing Linux community. Linux desktops have historically struggled to provide one unified experience. There are many distributions, desktop environments, package formats, and configuration systems. This variety is one of Linux's greatest strengths, but it can also create confusion for newcomers. Cosmic could potentially help by providing a cohesive experience that feels designed as one complete product. The relationship between Cosmic and Pop_OS is also fascinating. System 76 has already demonstrated that it understands what many Linux desktop users want. Features such as tiling, efficient workspace management, and keyboard-driven workflows helped make Pop_OS popular. Cosmic takes those ideas and attempts to create a more independent foundation. If successful, it could eventually become one of the defining desktop environments of the Linux world rather than simply being associated with one distribution. So, is Cosmic the future of Linux desktops? It is probably too early to give a definitive answer, but the potential is certainly there. Cosmic is entering the scene at an interesting moment. Linux desktop technology is changing rapidly, with Wayland becoming increasingly important. Modern graphics stacks continuing to improve, and users demanding better support for high-resolution displays, multiple monitors, gaming, creative work, and productivity. A desktop environment built from the ground up gives developers an opportunity to address these challenges without being restricted by decades-old design decisions. The biggest advantage Cosmic has is its willingness to rethink the desktop. It does not try to copy Windows or macOS exactly, and it does not simply recreate GNOME or KDE. Instead, it combines familiar concepts with a modern approach focused on productivity, customization, and efficiency. That makes it especially interesting for users who want something new without giving up the flexibility. That makes Linux attractive. At the same time, COSMIC's future will depend on execution. The developers need to maintain stability, improve hardware compatibility, expand application integration, attract contributors, and continue listening to users. The Linux community is passionate, but it is also demanding. A new desktop environment must prove that it can provide a reliable daily experience, not just an exciting demonstration. Ultimately, Cosmic may not replace GNOME or KDE Plasma, and it does not necessarily need to. The future of Linux desktops could be more diverse, with Cosmic becoming another major choice alongside the established leaders. If System 76 continues developing Cosmic at its current pace and successfully builds a strong ecosystem around it, this desktop environment could become one of the most important new projects in Linux computing. For now, Cosmic is best viewed as a bold experiment that is already showing serious potential. It brings modern design, powerful workspace management, flexible window handling, customization, and a fresh technical foundation into one package. Whether it becomes the future of Linux desktops will depend on what happens over the next few years. But one thing is already clear. Cosmic has made the Linux desktop conversation much more exciting. And if you are a Linux user looking for a modern, productive, and customizable desktop experience, Cosmic is absolutely a project worth watching.